Hello, I'm Michelle Christ, and I just want to come real quick and talk with a friend of mine. Janeen has joined me arm in arm with making my health better over the last couple of years. But as in 2020, we have the Renew You Challenge that is amazing, but a 60-day challenge to really push yourself towards getting that health momentum built. It's really good to have an understanding of how to get into your journey, what little tricks can help you get through the resistance you have as you start a new journey. And she has some really great information that I was going to ask her to get on here and kind of go through with you guys. So, Janeen, all yours.
Okay, figuring out how to unmute myself here. So thank you, Michelle. I'm so excited about this. My name is Janeen Canfield, and I am a certified nutrition health coach. And so I've been dealing with people's gut health and nutrition needs for the past 20 years. So it's what Michelle wanted me to talk to you all about is really those barriers to getting started. So many people come to my office and they've tried everything. So they've tried like 20 things and nothing works, and they give it a few weeks and then it didn't work. So they're looking for the next best thing. And I just know with them walking in the door, what's already happened to them. To starting a challenge or starting a new eating program or starting a new supplement program that I hear daily at the office is, well, I can't start, I'm not ready because I don't want to waste my money taking these products because I'm eating time. Clean up my diet and stop eating the garbage, then I'm going to start your program because I don't want to waste my money. I hear that all the time. And I also hear this, I always fail because I'm not organized. My schedule's in line. I have this anxiety and I'm stressed and I just can't do these things. So I can't start organized first, and then I'm going to start your products, and then I'm going to start your challenge. If you are sitting here in our Renew You, those things to yourself, you need to listen to what I'm going to say, because I'm hoping it'll change everything for you. So stop saying those excuses. Those are just barriers to you getting well. And what is really happening in your body? What's really happening is that your body is unwell. Potentially. I'm not all of you. I don't want to make a blanket statement. But if you have used antibiotics in your lifetime, if you have eaten processed foods in your lifetime, taken medications in your lifetime, been exposed to car exhaust and fumes and paints and anything like that, you have challenges. I promise you. The gut is in trouble. So medications, antibiotics, pesticides, GMOs, all those things wreak havoc on the gut. So what happens is that then you get the situation where you have non-optimal microbiome. So your gut flora has things like parasites, candida or fungus. It's got bad viruses and bacterias and all kinds of stuff in there that are starting to thrive and grow and making your life not optimal. Why is this so important? Well, the gut microbiome is you. There's this book called 10% Human, and I love this book, but it talks about how 10% of you is actually human. The rest of you is all that other stuff. So when I tell you that all this other stuff is super important to handle, it really, really is. We live in a symbiotic relationship with our gut microbiome. You want that microbiome to be perfect and to be super healthy because the other 10% of you that's human is going to thrive and be awesome. So in the gut, there are things called, the body makes things called neurotransmitters, and people kind of know about those serotonin and dopamine and all of those things. But at the end of the day, we have all these chemical reactions. And so these neurotransmitters are taken from the gut and go up to the brain. And they actually are responsible for our thoughts. So Um, Good, healthy bacteria give you good, healthy neurotransmitters and good, healthy thoughts. So, good bacteria are telling you things like you're awesome and you can do this, and you have willpower, you have organization. This is super easy and no brainer. I could see Michelle cheering me on. But what happens is when we have bad microbiome, those neurotransmitters are telling you dark thoughts. They really are. Candida and parasites are horrible, and they tell you very dark things like you can't do it. Just sit on the couch, eat some more ice cream, eat some more chips, drink some more soda pop. You're a loser. Nobody likes you. Those are the dark thoughts that those things send you, and it's a chemical reaction. So if you had dark thoughts, if you're feeling down, if you're having anxiety, if you're having stress, I promise you that your microbiome is off in some way. Yes, the doctors can drug you and give you all those neurotransmitters, but your gut is supposed to be making them correctly. So how does this work? Well, what happens is that the gut has, when you looked at the large intestine, it's got these little waves and these creases. So if you spread out this gut, oh my gosh, I can't remember the math. I think it covers like around the world or something crazy. It's a huge distance amount of gut material that we've got. But anyway, so there's these tight little grooves, and bad parasites and bad bacteria are very large, and they get stuck in those grooves and they starve out the good bacteria. So you might have some good bacteria in there that are trying to do their thing, but the large big guys are stuck in those grooves and really wreaking havoc, and just choking out the good stuff. So when we do cleanses, when we do probiotics, we have to do two things. So one is we need to start the war and start the battle. So that's your ProBio 5. It's got digestive enzymes in there. It's got good bacteria that actually fights candida. And you're going to start this battle. They're going to start winning. And as there's carnage, because you need dead yeast and dead parasites and dead bad guys, you can not feel so hot. That's where your sponsor comes in, because you've got all this yuck that's dying in there and the good bacteria is starting to grow. Talk to your sponsor. But what happens is that we use BioCleanse, which is a magnesium, to like flush all that stuff out. You've got to have the magnesium to move out those bodies, to parasites, and to move out the candida and all the stuff that's not supposed to be there, that's stuck in those grooves. So once all of that happens and you have this healthy gut microbiome, now those little guys are in transmitters to your brain, and you are eating better to and you're making better choices, and you cleaned your Michelle. Like, oh my gosh, man. Organization came in because you're thinking clearly. You're not cloudy anymore. And like I said, those choices are being made better. So all of a sudden, man, the steak and broccoli looks really good. And the idea of eating a donut sounds too sweet. It doesn't sound good anymore, because there's no candida and parasites telling you to eat the sweet and the sugar, 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 sugar. And your bones and your tissues are saying, we need protein, go eat a steak. We need vitamin C, go eat some broccoli. So you're actually listening appropriately. So when you come into my office, or you come in as a Plexus client and you say, I can't start the supplements because my diet's horrible, guess what? You have to, will ever be fixed. It might take you 3 to 6 the supplements to start to fix your diet, period. Thing or two things, and that's what we're doing in this challenge. So yeah, terrible, your diet's terrible, you have to start your supplements today if you want to be a different person 6 months from now. Antibiotic use, when I was a kid, I had chronic ear infections. I was on antibiotics my entire childhood. Guess what? It took me 2 years to fix my gut microbiome. And it still is a balancing act. I got to be careful. But it took 2 years, and all of a sudden I started being like this normal person. So at that time, 3 to 6 months for most people to really get it, habits will change. So that is my down. Cannot wait to start these products. I'll put it back to Michelle.
I'll figure out how to unmute me. This platform is fantastic. I gotta make sure you understand. I'm in a little farm in Kansas, and Janeen is up in South Dakota, and we are able to link arms and help people bust through these kinds of issues, and I love it. But it is a technical thing, so it has little tweaks. Now, I want to make sure you guys heard her. It is not do it today and tomorrow is better. There is a fight to be had, and it is a tough fight sometimes, but don't do it alone. You gotta let us know what's going on. So in the group right now, and the reason I really wanted to do this today is because we have a few people that have already been sending me messages, and I think they're worried that maybe they're the only one that's having this problem. And some of the problems are kind of personal. I mean, gut health and bathroom time, not everybody wants to scream it to the world. So what I want you to know is it's very normal. Please do message me, your sponsor, whoever in the group you feel comfortable talking to about that. The main concept, and correct me if I'm wrong here though, is your ProBio 5 is going to help fight the battle. It's going to get the trash out of there. It's going to, well, no, it gets the trash piled up. Like it starts bringing it in. I always thought of it as like, you know, grandma's house that had 17 layers of wallpaper. And that one time in the summer you came over to help and you like steam it and you're like peeling it and peeling it and peeling it. That's kind of your gut. Your gut does not get rid of stuff that it doesn't know what to do with. It lays it in a layer and keeps it. It's like, well, maybe, you know, your gut does not get a day off. It's always working. So in this journey, that ProBio 5 is going to gently start soaking that down and cleaning it. And what happens is you get this pile of junk going on that if you don't use the BioCleanse to move it through smoothly, you're going to have this fight between too loose, too firm, not going too much, and it's a gas and brake kind of thing. And some of us think we wish that we could have it all done in 48 hours. You don't want it done in 48 hours? No. Let's ease through this. Let's find the give and the take. There are food choices we can make that help with this. Now, there's something that came out, Janeen, that detox happens in a lot of different ways, and die-off is a little bit different than detox. The symptoms can be very similar. Now, we have somebody that's struggling with heartburn, and I personally think heartburn has a lot to do with how much sugar you had before, what your acidity level is in your body, what your metabolism is doing, and all these things that we're playing with right now, and your gut health. Do you have tips for people dealing with heartburn specifically? Because I know some people are really struggling with
that. So I just want to clarify, you could just give me a thumbs up. They're having heartburn once they started Plexus? Yeah, so there's between die-off, detox, all of those symptoms. Specifically for heartburn, I have to tell you, when I first started the microbiome, I did get heartburn. I'd never had heartburn except for once when I was pregnant. And so what was actually happening for me was that I have a fatty liver. I've got congestion in my gallbladder. So these digestive tracts, the digestion is not just about the large intestine. It's the liver and the pancreas, small intestine, and I say pancreas, I think I did, but everything is involved in digestion. Suspect is happening, which was happening for me, is that when people get that heartburn symptom, their gallbladder and their liver are actually dumping, and they're getting this reflux. So what I would probably talk to the person and find out, number one, which product is making which product is equaling the heartburn. For me, it was the Slim, was giving me terrible heartburn. Do some different things to ease myself. Number one, I switched over from the microbiome to the hunger control because there's fiber in there and that helped to slow things down. And then I stopped having the heartburn. And then would do like a quarter of a packet of the microbiome. And it took me several months so that the microbiome didn't give me heartburn. But if it's something else that's giving you the heartburn, you can try taking it with food. Some people don't do well with supplements on an empty stomach. And then also things that trigger, I'm actually going to go off on a tangent here, so forgive me, Michelle, because this is my pet peeve. Low stomach acid actually equals heartburn. It's not the opposite way. So when people have heartburn, they have a low stomach acid situation. So your stomach is a vat of acid, period. It's hydrolonic acid. So when you eat your cheeseburger and you drop it into this vat of acid, it dissolves it completely and then it goes out the body. That acid stimulates the gallbladder to dump, and the gallbladder dumps bile, which helps to cool off the acid, and it also helps to emulsify your fats because your stomach acid is digesting your proteins. So now you got this fat thing happening. Well, what happens is that people have low stomach acid, so they're getting heartburn. They're getting reflux because the cheeseburger did not digest. It is now coming back up. It's burning the walls of the stomach. And so then they take an antacid, and now they have no stomach acid. So when that undigested food tries to get through the digestive tract, it's not stimulating the gallbladder to dump anymore. So now you got a sticky gallbladder. And guess what? People lose their gallbladders. Every single person was on antacids to begin with. So that's usually what's happening. And then because they're no longer emulsifying their fats, guess what? You got vitamins, D, E, F, K. Do any of those sound important that are fat soluble vitamins? Now this person's becoming vitamin deficient and fat deficient in the brain, and their next step is antidepressants. So I can follow you from the time you had heartburn to the time you took an antacid to the time you lost your gallbladder to the time you were on antidepressants. It's usually about 5 to 7 years. So this is a huge problem, but the heartburn is either coming from one of two things. Number one, you don't have enough stomach acid, or number two, that liver is finally starting to try and dump some bile because the beet juice extract in that Slim is thinning the bile and making you try to dump. So it can be complicated, but I always make sure, number one, you're pooping. If you are not pooping, that heartburn is going to be horrible. And then contact me if you're still having some troubles, if we can't adjust these dosages, because we may need to do some tricks that I use with people like aloe vera juice and slippery elm bark powder because they're having major problems. But it is just a mechanism of this liver and gallbladder trying to dump, and a stomach acid situation that's probably been off for a long time. So that's my 2 cents. I hope that answered your question.
Well, and it's interesting. I knew some of that, but not all of that. And I go at it from a functional standpoint. I know what has helped me and some other people. And a lot of it, I talk through changing their food approach to having more coconut and avocado. So I am unwittingly trying to get that bile being used up and things like that. So that's why those people are having such a better reaction. I tend to lean away from antacids unless you're just in so much pain. But then I always tell everybody, now you have to heal from the medication and fix the problem. So sometimes pushing through, you're going to get the problem to balance. I love apple cider vinegar. Would this be a case that if they've been taking out antacids that they may need to do an apple cider vinegar or kombucha, something with that proper acidity to add to that area? Does that sound like okay?
Yes, absolutely. I didn't touch on that, the treatment. Yeah, so we want to increase the stomach acid. Sometimes if you're having major reflux, it can burn, but usually if it's just starting, they're okay. But yes, so they'll some kind of fermented food with their meals. So I have them eat like a pickles or pickled beef. vegetable if they like that, a little bit of capful of apple cider vinegar. They're eating their meal to drink with their meal will get that stomach acid. It's contraintuitive to what we've been told, but you actually need to increase your stomach acid, and there's lots of foods that will do that. So like you said, apple cider vinegar, pickles, pickled beets, any of those things to include with the meal. But yeah, there's that balancing act of like, let's get this right. What's really happening here? Why is this person having the heartburn? So, yep.
Okay, I think Janeen, you and I could talk for ages. That is like a given. So I'm gonna end the video here. For our challenge group people, I know I popped onto Facebook, and so there's gonna be people asking about this video, and you and I can discuss if we're gonna share it with them or if they have to get in the challenge. I don't know. But for the challenge people, you specifically really have our focus and our attention. So if there are more questions, let us know. This is why we're in this group. We need to up our knowledge level so that we are attacking it. I gotta tell you, 60 days is not as long as you think. It is over in a blink of an eye. People that started January 1, a week is almost gone. Tomorrow is 1 week. You're down to 7 more weeks. That's insane to me. So let us know what your questions are. Let's all, by the end of this, just feel so good about having both hands on the steering wheel for our health. That was what last year was for me. I don't even know that I crushed my own personal goals for that challenge, but I really, by the end of it, I felt like I had control over where I was steering my ship. And I'm still learning, and I'm still hungry to learn. And if anything, I hope everybody gets hungry to learn why stuff's happening, not just accepts that that's what's going on. So I love you. Thank you, Janeen. Here we go. Good luck on your challenge, everybody.